this game, BYU just being your first time to kind of evaluate your offense completely without, having your back turned to the field. Just kind of through your defensive lens, anything in particular jump out at you about the offense that you thought maybe needs a little shored up, or maybe a couple of things about the offense that impressed you?
Well, I thought they did a good job setting the tone for the game. I think that was the first thing. I think we had a good opening script and a good plan of how we wanted to attack it. We're constantly, you got to understand with our offense, because it is so unique, there is a little bit of a figuring out period that they go through every week of, hey, these guys are going to give us something completely new, so to go out there and score on the first drive, I thought was a really good trendsetter, and just a really good way to start the game. Just some things with some finishing aspects of it, us finishing some runs, finishing some blocks. But I thought our pass pro for the most part was good. Just some hand placement and technique stuff that we can still work on, and just finishing some drives. And we got ourselves behind the chains. I thought that was the big story of the day, and trying to overcome those situations. Just didn't happen, but I think there's a lot that we can still build on off of Saturday.
You've talked about how you usually spent the offensive possessions kind of adjusting with the defense. Did you feel you had adequate time to give to the defenders Saturday, or is that kind of still a work in progress?
Well, that was the biggest thing we were working through as the game went. And, I thought it was really smooth. We brought Jesse Bobbitt, our graduate assistant that works for the linebackers, down to the field, so he was directly involved with adjusting, that phase of it. And as I was watching the offense, I would click back and forth, and we would talk through the series, the calls, what we needed to get to, the adjustments, just like we normally did. I just wasn't at the forefront of doing it with the players. So I thought it was very efficient and smooth, and I think it'll be even better headed in the game too.
I know BYU came into it a little bit more 50-50 run pass and, lean on the run. With another run-heavy kind of team coming up in Arizona State, how much you kind of expect to hone in on rushing defense, and what do you think's maybe been a little bit of the issue, the Oregon State game and the BYU game?
Yeah, I mean, it didn't just show up on Saturday. I said it after the game. We've just been a little leaky as the season has gone on. We've just been able to make the big play to stop that momentum, right? So it always felt a little bit better. I give credit to BYU. They took care of the ball. They were consistent in their approach, trying to attack us down the middle. We just need to be more aggressive in the core, right? It's that D tackle group, our inside linebacker group. We need to be more physical, more aggressive, more attacking. I think that's just been a consistent trend. We've had a lot of guys at the line of scrimmage. We're just kind of limited a little bit into some of the sub packages we can do right now with our personnel as far as getting bigger bodies in there. So it's going to continue to be a little bit of a trend, but in order to be successful against Arizona State, we got to get them behind the chains. We never had an opportunity to do that against BYU, or the times we did on first down, we had success on those series. So that was the point of emphasis this morning. Like, hey guys, see, when we do it all together, when we do it right, we get them in the 2nd and 9, we get our shot to get off the field, right? When BYU's in 3rd and 3, 3rd and 5, it's going to be the same thing with Arizona State. It's hard to stop those people in those 50-50 third downs. So it starts early in the series. We got to win more first downs, and that starts with stopping the run, and it starts with me putting our guys in the best position to make plays.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right, Coach, next question is going to be Jamie Vinnick from Coug Fan. Go ahead, Jamie.
Hey, Coach, how's it going?
Good, Jamie. How are you?
Can't complain. Thanks for asking. We saw towards the end of the game, Brennan Jackson was getting stretched out a little bit on the field. Is that something serious, or is he just a little nicked up at the time?
Well, we always like to talk to BJ like he looks like a grandpa when he walks around. That's just the way he is all the time. He's always got a little nick or bruise or something. But it's because he plays so hard. He had a heck of a game. You watch the tape. Man, he played hard, and I know we didn't win the game, but he was a table setter for us, and we're just really happy with the way he played pretty much for the whole 60 minutes. It was physical, it was fast, it was aggressive. He always seems to have a little bit of a nick and bruise, but he takes care of his body to the utmost, and he'll be ready for next week. So nothing major going forward.
And kind of on that note, do you have an update on Dion and Halid?
Yeah, HD is going to hopefully get back out there moving this week. I think he's a little bit ahead of schedule. I don't know it'll be to the point where he'll be completely ready for this game, but we'll see how he responds. And we fully hope to get Dion back in the mix this week.
When it comes to Khalid, when he is fully back, how do you kind of work him back in with how well George has played at the free safety spot?
Well, I think those two, kind of really complement each other. I think George is really an elite cover guy, who's done a lot better job with his tackling and his approach. And I think Khalid, his expertise is physicality and coming up and finishing. So a lot of it, is it a third down, first down sub? Is it a 12, 11 personnel package deal? We'll see once we get them back to 100%. But either way, we're going to do what's best for the team. And I think that's what those two know that we'll do. And just excited to get another body back in that secondary. We need it desperately.
And then last thing for me, you watched film today and on this BYU game. Did you notice a difference in watching film as a head coach versus watching as a defensive coordinator? Was there some certain things you maybe saw differently or looked at differently, or was it kind of par for the course what you've been doing?
No, it's exciting for me. I'm a football guy, and it's one of those things. The time, right? The time's different, right? You got to watch all three phases. Offense, defense, and special teams. So we took our normal prep time that we went on defense yesterday and into today, and then it was exciting for me to watch the offense, make some general notes. Sit down with Brian and just kind of say, here's some little things that I see. What are you seeing? What are we thinking in these moments? Here's what I'm thinking, and just really getting even more on the same page. Trust me, I'm not writing down plays or playbooks or telling them what to do. It's just little things where I think, hey, within our scheme, I think here's how little things that we could take advantage of. So it was fun. It was exciting. I'm a football person, right? I know the story is I used to play offense, right? But I love seeing the game and seeing it from all perspectives and just trying to help us be the best we can be.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck this week.
Thank you.
Again, if you have a question for Coach Dickert, please raise your hand and we'll call on you. Coach, next question is going to be Alex Crescenti from Spokane TV. Go ahead, Alex.
Hey, Coach. Abe Lucas on Saturday said he didn't agree with the calls off the offensive holding. I don't want to get you in trouble at all with the Pac-12 or anything, but when you were looking at the film, those three holding calls, is there anything that stood out to you, or were you like, no, that wasn't holding?
Well, at this point, it doesn't matter what I think. It's what they were called, right? And they were Big 12 officials, and we'll send those in. From the film viewpoint, right, there's some questionable calls, some angles, some things that we'll have to get some clarification on, but it doesn't change it. I think the sending in of a plays as a coach, is one of those things, it can make you feel a little bit better if you get the verification that you were right. But at the end of the day, it doesn't change the moment and the situation and what we're in. It does change the teaching points. Hey, your technique's still good. Keep working. Don't let this set you back. But that's about all. We don't really dwell on the past too much.
And then with the new coaches that you brought in over the past week here, can you give us any kind of update on how they're adjusting to sort of the lifestyle with everything?
Well, I think the lifestyle is good. It's good because Dan and Dennis, Coach Morrison, Coach McKnight, they knew each other, prior to this relationship. So that has been really, really smooth. And now it's just, hey, we teach it this way, because just like my background is in Tampa 2, just because I go work for another person in the Tampa 2 or the match 3 is not always going to be the same verbiage and language and teaching progressions, right? So I think the offense has done a good job of melding, hey, this is how we used to teach it. This is how we teach it now. Is there a way to teach it better? But yet make sure our guys are comfortable. We don't need a bunch of change here in the last 4 weeks of the season. So this is how we teach it. This might be a little bit of a better way that can help at this moment. So it's just those guys getting back to, the way we teach it so we can move forward.
Thank you, Coach.
Yep.
All right, a couple more, Coach. Let's go back to Colton Clark, spokesman review. Go ahead, Colton.
Yeah, I forgot to ask about Arizona State's defense. They're up there in a lot of defensive categories. Have you gotten a read on what's made them effective?
Yeah, because it's actually the one team that in crossover film each week when we study an offense, we try to find similar defenses that look like us, and they're the number one. We're very similar as far as style and scheme and what we do. They're massive up front. They're very physical up front. I think that's what really has set the tone for their season and their success. At some point, sometimes they play like 4 D tackles up there and just being physical and aggressive, but they can also get to the passer because they're athletic. At the second level, they got guys that can play sideline to sideline, and the secondary has been pretty salty. So it's going to be a challenge, but it is a scheme and a group that I've seen a lot in crossover film, and it's going to be a challenge.
Thank you.
Yep.
Coach, a couple more. Dale Gummer, the Lewiston Tribune. Go ahead, Dale.
Coach, I know Jihad is always dialed in. Was that even more the case Saturday, coming off that suspension?
Yeah, I think there was a great want to get back out in the field. I know even after the Stanford game, he was texting the guys early Sunday morning, let's hit the weight room. I just think he was itching, ready to go, to watch the film, to get back to it. He had a great week of practice and was flying around, and it's hard. I mean, to sit there and watch that game and how it kind of unfolded, yet be as happy as he was for the team that we won the game, so I think he was locked in and he was ready to go. And I think he was flying around against BYU.
And last, 2 or 3 games, some substitution, little rough around the edges, maybe. How much is that just opponents trying to offset what you guys are doing defensively?
Well, I think they're trying to limit our packaging stuff at times. The one in the goal line against BYU, I'll take that on me. I fully expected the white hat to still hold the ball. They substituted 4 guys at 4 different times, and I don't think they quite held it long enough on the last substitution, but that's on me. I told the guys that this morning. I think it's the tempo, it's the style, it's a bunch of bodies coming in and out, knowing that we match a lot more personnel than most people do. So I think it's part of the game that they're playing, part of the game that we're playing. And at the bottom line is I need to get the guys in faster, get them a call so they can line up and play. Right. So that one on Saturday is completely on me.
Thank you, Coach.
Yep.
All right, Coach, last one's going to be Brenna Green, Spokane TV. Go ahead, Brenna.
Hi, Coach. You said after the game on Saturday that you couldn't wait to go see your wife and your 3 kids. Just what did they say to you after the game?
Yeah, and my mom was here. That was a big moment for me. She got to see me in person. So it was just they were proud of me. They were proud of us. They're proud of the team. A lot of emotions. I mean, it was exciting. It was one of those things and moments, just like I said in here, we'll never forget as a family. The boys were excited and. Obviously sad we didn't win, but they were proud of me. It was good to get hugs and just share that moment upstairs with them in the office.
You mentioned Brian Smith and the fact that, obviously a lot of the coaches he came with are no longer on staff anymore. Yeah. Just, what do you think Saturday was like for him too?
To be honest, I think it was exciting. I think it was an opportunity that he wanted to show his growth and what he can do. And I think it was an exciting moment for him too. Obviously different. He had a lot of weight on his shoulders. But I think he was excited to show who he is, what he can do, what his plan was. And I thought, for the most part, we executed really, really well on Saturday. And you got to remember, they were going through a lot. Different people in the box, different people upstairs. He was downstairs. We lost our signal person. There's a lot of things that are behind the scenes that I just thought he handled really well and called a really good game.